What do you guys think about Gonzaga?
I've watched Gonzaga a lot this year. I think they're phenomenal. And I have a feeling that coach might disagree, but they're so good. They're so good offensively. And it's going to take a team that could probably needs to put up, 80, 90 points in order to defeat them. I think they're the clear-cut winner. They crushed Iowa. They crushed Villanova. I think their game against Baylor got canceled because of COVID earlier on in the year, but they could score between Suggs, Kispert, Tilly. They could, those dudes can ball without a doubt. They're probably gonna have, maybe 3 lottery picks, I believe. So I really like Gonzaga. I right now they're my pick to win it all. But I really can't see anybody beating them. I really can. I don't know. I have a feeling that coach is going to disagree, but I really like Zaga.
We said that about Duke though in 2019. That who could beat them? It's them or the field. Zion, Barrett. I mean, they were stacked. And again, they almost got bounced in the round of 32. And you also have to not only think about momentum, you also have to think about pressure. They feel the pressure that they are expected to win. Lower seeds and even some top 3 to 4 seeds are not expected to win the tournament. Like Gonzaga's expected to win. Duke was expected to win. Virginia was expected to win. That's the pressure Gonzaga has on them. Sure, they put up 92 points a game, which is ridiculous, which leads the country. All it takes is one bad shooting day. All it takes is a bad start to a game. A lower seed gets momentum, gets hot. Then the pressure builds on them more. They have pressure on them to begin with, just because they are the top seed in the tournament and the best team in the tournament. So you're not going to think pressure is going to play a role of that? Coach, what do you think about that?
I mean, pressure is definitely going to play a role. And also, the thing about Gonzaga is the only other school that made it in the tournament that they played against in the last 20 days is BYU. That's the only school from their conference that made it to the tournament. And we've seen, and as much as I love Gonzaga, we've seen this story. We've seen this story before. I think they're talented. The matchup that I know Charlie said they crushed Iowa. They did not crush Iowa. The score, first half, they crushed them. Second half, Iowa adjusted. Joe Toussaint, point guard from out of Cardinal Hayes in New York, really gave them an extra boost because he had to push the tempo. And I think Iowa won the second half. It's just that poor start, down 13-14 in the first half, that cost them. And look what the committee does. That's why I tell you, it's all scripted. The committee puts Iowa in the same bracket so we can get that Sweet 16 matchup. It's Elite 8, might be Sweet 16 or Elite 8 matchup between Iowa and Gonzaga. And then you got to look at Iowa. They just went through the gauntlet. Look who they had to play in the last 2.5 weeks. They've had to play the teams that are right below Gonzaga and prepare, for this tournament. So it's like, will the 2 warm-up games be enough to give Gonzaga a wake-up call? Because I don't know if you watch, you probably watch Charlie and Brandon. I know you don't watch too much college basketball. You follow it, but you don't watch a lot of it. If you watch Gonzaga play in their conference tournament, they had a scare. I mean, they had a real scare. BYU looked like they were going to stop that undefeated season. And it took a Gonzaga amazing run to start the second half in that conference tournament to really create some space. I've seen them take their foot off the pedal. You still got Suggs, who's a freshman point guard, who, like, now you're playing against seniors, and some of them who've been to the tournament already. So if you ask me if I was going to put money on it and you say Gonzaga on the field, obviously I'm going to take the field because I just feel it's so many unknowns. And then I would love to see Florida State Gonzaga for a chance for the national championship. Like, those are the matchups. Florida State, they got bigs. They got guards who could switch 1 through 5. They could put Scotty Barnes at the 1, and now he's on Suggs. They got, shooters. Like, that's the matchups that you get into where it's like, all right, no disrespect, but you're not playing St. Mary's. You're not playing Pepperdine. You're not, those are good schools. I mean, mind you, I played at St. Francis, so I'm not trying to diminish a mid-major, but I'm just saying now you're playing against 3 or 4 guys who are going to be at the next level in the NBA just like you, and with a lot of pressure because you're undefeated in the season, and that is in the back of your head. So I'm taking the field, but I can't disrespect Gonzaga. I mean, amazing team. They do have the weapons to cut down the nets in the next 2 weeks, excuse me.
I'm happy you brought up the BYU game because I think what happened in the conference final made me believe in Gonzaga even more because this was the first time that they got punched in the mouth. They were, I think, in their last 20 games or whatever, they won them by double digits. So this was the first time where they faced that adversity. And I think that's going to be big going into the tournament. And we saw that they got right back up and they started to punch back and they eventually won.